Alright, welcome to letter B of the one map WAD alphabet, Breathless. And let me start off by saying, this map is damn hard. I chose a really tough one for the second of the series, the second letter of the series. So, don't get your hopes up if that like every letter is going to be this difficult, because it's not. This is actually one of the harder maps that I chose out for the alphabet. So you start off, kill those two archviles, and then I gotta make use of the splash damage because I want to save some rockets for the next bit. The chain gunners will be shooting at you the entire time, so that's a little annoying, but that's whatever. They don't usually do too much damage. Now grab the rockets while you wait for the wall to lower, because it takes a while. And just rocket down the archvile. And he just kept resurrecting the chain gunner over and over, making me waste rockets. Thanks, bro. Now, this next little area before we drop down, I want to chain gun down some imps and show my face to an arachnotron and just rocket him down from up here. So when we drop down onto the step, we can chain gun down this pain elemental. And by the way, we got the chain gun from the first secret. Just go back right at the start of the map. Just go backwards. Now drop down, chain gun down the three shotgunners, and lower those rockets. Grab the SSG, but switch over to the rocket launcher so you can wait for the revenants to teleport in a little. That fourth one didn't teleport in until a little later. And then SSG down everything else. Having 13 rockets for the next bit is insanely good, because it just means we'll be able to spam rockets without any worry, basically. Because usually you would have to switch over to SSG and finish off some of the final enemies in the next bit. And there's plenty of shells, so don't really worry about your shells too much. There we go, that was the final Cacodemon. Now we can go to the next bit, just some incidental imps before we start the actual fight. And here we go. So since we saved so many rockets, we can basically just spam. And yeah, there's there is a lot of Barons and Hell Knights that just teleport in, and if you didn't have this many rockets, there's also some barrels in the back which you can blow up for just a little bit of extra damage. But yeah, even with that many rockets, I still had to use one SSG shot, which, I mean, isn't bad, but yeah, if I hadn't saved rockets, I would have had to be in this very cramped room with like 5 Hell Knights and Barons and stuff. So yeah, saving the rockets definitely pays off in the end. Now I got this part. This part is incredibly annoying. So hit the switch, immediately jump for the supercharge. That was incredibly annoying. I skipped the teleport line. And now we gotta rocket down this archvile. Basically, just thankfully he died with that plasma, but you basically just have to hope he dies. He behaves with his pathing, and you don't miss every rocket. And then this cyber, I really want him to start infighting with the revs, but sometimes he starts infighting with the Cacodemons first. It's really annoying when he does that, because he will just start infighting the Cacodemons, and he will never switch off of them. He'll splash more Cacodemons, and then he won't be able to infight the revs. And now, here, we got the hardest fight in the map. So what I do, just make a loop around, wait for the cybers to wake up, and now we make a few semicircles. And we get the cybers infighting. And if you see a nice path towards the center, go ahead and take that. The bit with the light glow that's lighting up, the outer edges of that is actually monster block lines. So the center of the arena is completely just devoid of enemies, basically. I don't even know if that's the right word, but enemies can't go there. But if you stay in the center, then you'll be subjected to like a lot of infighting rockets and a bunch of Hell Knight projectiles. So you do want to be staying on the outside, but you got to be really aware of like how many Hell Knights are. That was stupid, by the way. 11% health. rushed towards a megasphere. Thankfully, I made it. Could have easily caught a Hell Knight projectile and died, but yeah. There's 2 megaspheres, 2 superchargers, and I grabbed a supercharge on my way in because I was a little lower on health than I wanted to be. That was another really close rocket. And yeah. Sometimes a few cybers die, but most of the time you get like 3 left. And once it comes down to this point, then I just spam plasma until the cybers die, and once the cybers die, then I can switch over to rockets for the rest of the Hell Knights. Sometimes the Hell Knights actually win because they can pin the cybers up against the monster block lines, and the cybers just get stuck, and it's absolutely hilarious, but that's like best case scenario, because the cybers are honestly your biggest threat, not even the Hell Knights. Although, the Hell Knights can easily pin you while you're doing those circles on the outside. And from the previous fight, few caco demons came in, so just rocket them down. Plenty of ammo in this area. A lot of cells, a lot of rockets. You'll basically be set for a bunch of future fights because of this. Now drop down. A cyber spawn and a few arachnotrons. What I just do is just focus on the arachnotrons. You want to be aware of those rockets the cyber is shooting, because he can easily just hit you from the side without you realizing. I thought that Revenant rocket was a cyber rocket at first, and I like panicked. Thankfully not. And the cyber started infighting a Rev, which is insanely good, because then I could go in for the switch completely safe. But yeah, there's also the top cyber you need to be aware of, and I was taking a lot of damage. And I thought that because he got hit by that Rev missile, I thought he was infighting, but no. He was still targeting me. Now this next fight, you get the BFG, and what you want to do is target these Revs up top, because there are also 2 Archviles who are absolute bitches. I hate these Archviles so much, because to kill them, you really can't rely on the tracers to kill them very much, because obviously you're just going to be hitting them with like single tracers every time. You gotta hit them with the ball, and because they're moving around so much, and because of the just RNG values, like the damage of the BFG balls, it can just take forever, and those Archviles can bully you. It sucks. But I would say you do got quite a bit of time before like the Barons and caco demons start pressuring you, so it isn't all that bad. Most of the time I was able to kill the Archviles, but just like every once in a while one would survive, and I couldn't focus on him because I had to be focusing on these Barons and caco demons. And he had another threat to be dealing with. Had to hide behind the wall every once in a while if he targeted me. Those Archviles are just insanely annoying, and they make this fight a little bit unfun for me, because it's kind of just random whether you kill them or not. But yeah, once the Archviles do die, the fight's basically free. Targeting those Barons, and every once in a while letting the caco demons come in, then you can target them. The caco demons actually teleport in pretty slowly throughout the fight, so they're not as much of a threat as the Barons. Or so I've found, at least. The Barons just flood in a lot quicker. And there are a lot of Barons. Like, every cell pack that I was picking up is 600 cells, and by the end of this, I'm going to have only a few BFG shots left. Coming down to the last few shots. I want to save some for the next bit. You only really need at least 1 for the next bit, I've found. So, having 6 is a little overkill, but better safe than sorry. Can just rocket down the rest of the cacos anyways. The rockets that you see there, off to the right, there's a lot of them, so really don't worry about it. Way more than you need, for sure. There we go. I want to be killing every last Cacodemon before going on to the next fight, or else they can just be annoying, shooting at me while dealing with other stuff. Making sure that's it, and we can move on to a little bit of an Archvile Simon Says. So every time you approach the teleporters at first, an Archvile spawns, so just BFG him. This guy managed to survive, but thankfully just one SSG shot took him out. And that was just an awkward BFG shot. Got zapped. Thankfully, Mega Armor right there, just backtrack a little bit for it. Now for this bit, 2 Archviles spawn up top. This is why this is an Simon Says, because you gotta memorize. Then 2 Archviles up top behind you. That guy managed to survive. I thought I was gonna take just the 20 splash damage by hugging that wall, but no. He actually gave me the full blast, and I got knocked down. So this area went a little slower than usual, and then once you hit the teleporter, usually I don't take the teleporter, I just back up because another 2 Archviles teleport in, but yeah, I forgot about him this time, but thankfully just dropped down and just killed him. Now last little pair on the bottom layer, just drop down, 2 more, and then you're done. So yeah, a little bit of memorization, but nothing too bad. You get the black key from that. And I drop down because 60 cells down here, and I want every little bit of cells that I can grab. Because we're going to go back to the previous fight and clean up the cybers. Like where I really wanted him to infight with the revs. This guy here. And sometimes some Cacodemons survive as well. Can rocket them down as well now that we have a lot more supplies. And yeah, all the Revenants died, which is really nice. And jump down and kill this guy as well. This guy is a lot scarier to 2-shot than he really needs to be, because you gotta jump onto the platform in order to get that the tracers off. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but for the most part, I was consistent with it. I actually had an attempt where he was knocked down, and that's 20 damaging floor down there, so because he was knocked down, I couldn't get back. I had to go kill him, and I couldn't get back up in time, so I actually died. There's no monster block lines there. Now, right now, just getting a secret berserk, and then take the teleporter out. Now this next bit. Hit the switch, and just hide behind the rock. You're safe from the cyber at this point, because he will be shooting at that blue rock right there. And we're just going to be waiting for a bunch of the pain elementals to start teleporting in. And since I had quite a lot of cells, actually, I can just be BFGing down these lost souls. The last few, though, SSG. Now that they're all dead, we can focus on that cyber. There's an Arachnotron behind him that actually came down all the way from the cave in the next area off to the left. Yeah, the Arachnotron came all the way down from there, and he's a little scary. It's just because, I don't know, if he decides to shoot, it can be just some unnecessary damage. But I guess there are some med kits and stuff, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And the next bit. So for this, we're going to be grabbing Supercharge and Mega Armor off to the left, and the big cell stack, and hit the switch. And what I do is I basically run into this corner, try not to wake up the Sire behind you. You saw him raising up, and I just get the infighting going for not too long, just a little bit between those Cybers and the Hell Knights. This was a bit of a rare case because only like 2 Cybers teleported in. Usually you get like 4 or 5, but no. The Hell Knights took priority, I guess. Which is actually pretty, I'm thankful for it, because then the rest of the Cybers will be teleporting in behind the Hell Knights, and I only have to deal with those two Cybers before I can deal with the one behind me. And yeah, the cacos and pain elementals don't wake up until you shoot, so that's why I stood in the corner, just pacifist for a while. And by this point you can just BFG spam. Again, plenty of cells. And I want to be targeting those cybers, because infighting rockets are definitely your worst enemy in this fight. But couldn't get traces off very efficiently because, well, there's a big caco cloud in front of me. But yeah, this fight went really well because of the cybers teleporting in the back. They could clear out quite a few Hell Knights. And once you have a bunch of Hell Knights clear, you want to hit that switch because it takes like 20 seconds for the wall to lower. And in those 20 seconds, you can just be finishing off the last few enemies in this fight. So yeah, definitely your big threat are those starting cybers, because they're just hard to dodge. Really easy to catch a rocket from them. You got a Dimensions Map 3 a little bit, but yeah. Only 2 came out this time, and that was really, really lucky. And again, there's a ton of cells here, so don't be afraid to just BFG those individual lost souls. Now we're going to go for our third secret. Hidden switch in the wall there. Lowers the pillar. And it teleports us some revs and an archvile. You can really just use another BFG shot here. I don't know why I switched over to SSG. There's really no point. There's a ton of cells here, so yeah, don't know why I did that. And then small archvile horde. Really easy, just like 8 archviles or so. Probably less than that, actually. And then secret 4. Computer area map at the end of the thing there. And now we can move on to the cool room. Look at this. Look at the fake floors. It's so pretty. And it's also just a really hard fight. So what I do is I do 4 like U-shapes with the revenants just back and forth. So this is my second time back and forth. And at the end of the U-shapes, you want to be BFGing the cacos a little, because they can easily block you and make you eat a ton of rev missiles. And then once that's done, start moving through the Manx. You can actually move a bit slower than this to pull the cybers out. I was a bit too fast, and the cybers were not as far forward as I would have liked them to be, so I had to go in front of them, which is risky. They can easily shoot you in that time, and the megaspheres in this fight are just geniusly placed. They're on top of the Cacodemon teleporters, so oftentimes you gotta be BFGing your way up to them, and you gotta be just fighting your way through those Cacodemons in order to get the megaspheres, which is really, really creative. I love the use of the placement of those megaspheres. But yeah, once the Cacodemon teleporters are done, then you'll have a lot easier access to those megas, and you can just be circle strafing around, pushing through the Hell Knights and Barons and all that crap. But it's actually a lot more consistent than it looks. They're usually spaced out quite nicely. Of course, always being aware of those infighting rockets. And by this point, I only really shoot on my way through. This cyber off to the side was kind of scary. Just, he could have blocked me while... And that rocket! Did you see that rocket coming? Because I didn't. Put me down to 4% health. But yeah, made my way. Again, the megaspheres are easy to access now, so thankfully made my way to one super easily. But yeah, that definitely put me in a panic. And that's the cool room. Honestly, some of the coolest like geometry in a room, in a map that I've ever seen. Like, it's so cool looking. And yeah, these switches take a while to lower as well, so can actually speed this up a little bit. There we go. Now the next part. 2 cybers. You want to kill these cybers as quick as you possibly can. Like Poog 28 came in handy for this part. And then once they're dead, bunch of archviles from the opposite end. You can actually use some rockets just to get some damage off a little, and then just your average archvile horde, BFG them down. It's actually a little different from your average archvile horde because they're so much more spread out than usual. Because they just trickle in from the opposite end, they're a lot more spread out, and you can't really make use of your tracers as efficiently. But again, not too much to worry about since there's a lot of cells around. This guy managed to tank a full BFG blast. And then also 3 cybers. These guys were incredibly spread out, which was a little annoying. Just means I couldn't use my tracers as efficiently. One guy got stuck on the rock, which is hilarious. And yeah, I don't want to use all the cells in this area. Just plasma down the rest of this last guy. SSG him. Because I want to save 600 cells, which conveniently, 600 cells right here for the next fight. And in the meantime, hit this switch. And I gotta show you something. Nirvana screwed up and didn't peg the like it's up or unpegged, or I don't know. He screwed up with that floor raising up. But yeah, I'm gonna actually rewind a little because I want to explain the secret. So what I do, jump onto the building, and there's a rad suit at the bottom down here, and you can move around the building to a teleporter, which takes you to the next secret fight. Just a really small encounter. And there's a shootable switch which lowers the waterfall. Really hard to miss. Takes you to the next secret. And I pre-fire a few shots because I ain't messing around with these cybers. These cybers can actually be kind of scary if they're both shooting at you at once. Like that, I really wasn't paying attention to actually like hitting my BFG shots. So the cybers like spread out a little, and they were both shooting at me at once. Its best case scenario is they are like one's in front of the other, and the rockets just hit the other cyber. That's best case scenario, and that's what usually happens. But yeah, not this time. It was a little bit scarier, but again, it's just 2 cybers, so nothing to worry about. And even if you do get hit by the by one of the cybers, you get a Megasphere and Supercharge from that fight. That was a sick jump, by the way. I don't know how I did that. But yeah, grab that rad suit, and we're just going to go back to this familiar area for our next secret. So taking all those teleporters, we're going to jump off the side here. All the way around. You don't need that other rad suit. That was a nice leaky suit. 2% chance. And then grab the Megasphere. And you want this Manx to shoot. He actually walked quite a ways forward than usual. So when this spider shot, she couldn't hit the 4 cybers, which she usually does. That's what I rely on. So yeah, this was a bit of improvisation. Used 2 BFG shots to just clear out all the Manx. And then that was another really close rocket. And yeah, just I got blocked by the spider demon, but thankfully she died. I could have easily caught a rocket there. But again, there's a supercharge if you do take a bit of damage. And yeah, this went not too well, but not too bad either. And then once you grab all the cells, if you watch the David's BFG video, or Archvile Horde video, I don't remember which one it was, you'll remember this part. Big ass Archvile Horde. But it's actually not as bad as it looks. Since they're really clumped up, you can make use of your tracers are a lot of tracer efficiency, basically. I couldn't talk there for a moment, so I apologize. This is a really weird trigger here. Don't take the teleporter, instead just walk up onto that ledge. And then it lowers the candles and teleports you to the next area. You need all 3 keys for this area. And you take the teleporter to the secret fight. Now this fight is surprisingly difficult. So what you want to do is just occasionally shoot the zombie men. Just, you don't want to spam them down or else you'll run out of cells, but just shoot every once in a while because you want to clear them out. There's going to be cybers teleporting in a minute. I think one just teleported to my right. Yep, there we go. Here's the cybers. And drop down to 65. Trying to frantically make my way to a megasphere. Really close infighting rocket right there. And yeah, managed to make my way to a megasphere, but still quite scary. Dropping down to 26. But yeah, these cybers will be infighting the zombie men. You got to deal with those infighting rockets, and it is a lot scarier than it looks. But if you just BFG down the zombie men every once in a while, most of them will be cleared out, and you really don't have much to worry about. Well, actually, you do have stuff to worry about, but you don't have to worry about infighting rockets as much, because the zombie men will be dead. They'll be infighting with the revs, I guess, but those rockets go upwards, and yeah, you know the deal. There's also some cells on the metal things that lower. There's like one cell pack in each corner. This area is actually a little tight on cells. I know I came out with quite a lot, but yeah, just like 4 cell packs in the corners and then some on the metal pillars as well. So that's why I say don't spam, just occasionally shoot. Spamming is a bit of a waste. That switch that we just hit right there opens up the secret exit, even though it just goes to map 2. Now, come in here just for those few cells, and then we make our way to the finale, because the final secret is the secret exit. And yeah, 1,300 kills nearly in the this last fight, grabbing 600 cells. I'm at the proper amount of kills, so here we go. And this fight is ridiculous. So, Pinky Horde to start, just BFG through them. You're really not in a rush because after a while some Archviles teleport in that take a while, but I just keep spamming anyways. And these Archviles, they actually spread out quite a lot, so I took a zap from one of them, which is not ideal, but again, not that big of a deal. And you want to rush these next 2 Archviles as well. If they're at the ends there, it's really annoying because they'll just not take as much tracer damage and then drop down to 20 health because of those last 2 Archviles. Press the switch to grab one of the megas, go back up the stairs and just clear out the pinkies because you want to be luring those cacodemons up towards the stairs. And then the main focus right now is spending as much time within the cacodemons. There's also some sniper cybers, I should point out, which are completely annoying, which is super annoying because you really can't focus on the rockets too much. And if you get hit, oh well, you just have to eat that last mega, and it's just annoying. Those sniper cybers, though from my experience, they only hit me once in practice, and I did this fight a lot of times in practice. I wanted to make sure I got this fight right. So yeah, just spending as much time in the cacodemons as possible until you drop low. Hit the switch for that next megasphere. I just took it now because I was getting scared. And then once you're out of megas, you want to go into this area with all the imps and pinkies. And this area here is actually a little tight on cells, so just grab them when it's most efficient. Keep BFGing down those cacodemons. And if your health drops low, you can grab that last megasphere as well. Like right now. And just keep BFGing down those cacos until I would say you're at decently low cells. Like right now I got 2 BFG shots left. Even just 1 will do, just for safe emergencies. Then move your way around, up and to the left, so you dodge those cybers, and then dodge the rocket traffic. My big focus right now are those revs, because they're just another threat. I want to be killing these cybers, and that. I saw a cyber infighting on my right. I did not want to take my chances with those infighting rockets, so I went through them, and then another pretty close infighting rocket got stuck on the geometry, and I ate a rocket because of it. That was very scary, but yeah. And I didn't even think about the rev ball, so I just backed up into that. Yeah, this is the hardest part of the finale for sure, dealing with these cybers and the revs. They are just like such a pair. I don't like. They're so threatening in combination with each other. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, at this point, of course, you want to be aware of the projectiles because no armor, only 100 health, few med kits to my name, but yeah, just and I was scared, so I stood back, just rocketed the rest of them. And the revenants off to the right can also just be really annoying because they can shoot homing missiles while you're dodging all the Hell Knight and Baron projectiles. So once I load them off to the side, then I can come down and grab that mega armor in the center there. And by this point, I'm basically chilling. Like, I've basically won at this point. It's just clean up. And there's a lot more cells down here as well. So just BFG down the rest of these enemies. There's also cells to the right that I was picking up, like when I was pushing through the pinkies initially. And that is it. That is all the kills. There's also cells on where these archviles and revs were. And you also got to take these teleporters to progress, and the switches take forever to lower, which is annoying, but that's whatever. And yeah, that is Breathless. It's made by Nirvana 985. You might recognize them from An Evening with Nirvana. Just superb map. It's amazing. I love this map so much. I think one of the big things is like comparing the difficulty of this to Entropy. I'm really not sure. I think it might be a little easier than Entropy this is the final secret. That last switch I hit was the end of that. And this intermission hits so hard. Such a good intermission, midi, man. But yeah, I can't finish my thoughts about Breathless. Phenomenal map. I'm gonna pause for a minute because even though the demo's not quite done, yeah, phenomenal map by Nirvana. I do want to say I had a lot more fun in practice than I did with actual attempts, because like the annoying fight where you we're making the revs and fight that one cyber. That part is super annoying. Sometimes he just infights the cacodemons, and it's just he can take forever clearing out those cacodemons before he starts infighting the revs. That fight is really annoying, and then right after that you have the hardest fight in the map with the infighting rockets. Basically the infighting rocket fight. I know I was saying infighting rockets a lot during this because Nirvana just loves using cybers. His use of cyber demons in his fights are just amazing. Like, they are usually the number one threat in his fights just because of the infighting rockets. And yeah, like the skill set required to beat his maps is like vastly different from most other things, which I feel is super cool. But that's besides the point. Then you got the hardest fight in the map, the infighting rockets with the white key fight. That's what I should call it. Like, you got that 5 minutes into the map, and just redoing the annoying part and the infighting and the white key fight over and over and over got a little tedious. So I definitely had a lot more fun in practice than I did with attempts. But like everything after the and I guess the BFG fight, since I said I wasn't a big fan of that with the sniper archviles, I would say everything after the BFG fight is really fun. Yeah. It's, and of course, everything, the visuals in this map are gorgeous. I'm tripping on my words a lot. I apologize. The visuals in this map are gorgeous. Like the cool room. It's so cool. It's the cool room. The geometry of that room is amazing. I just, like, everything after the BFG fight, I would say. I only have good things to say. There's really not much to like criticize. So yeah, really good map, really beautiful, and I'm a big fan of it. This is 100% one of the harder maps in the one map WAD alphabet. But yeah, I started off with a really hard one for letter B. But yeah, there is actually a bonus map too, which should be coming up soon after this banger intermission. It's so calm. It really does hit different. Actually, I'm gonna speed it up because this is awkward. How long did I spend on this intermission? There we go. Okay. Bonus map 2 is just some cool lighting, and then behind the water is just you drop down. And that's it for map 2. That's it for that. And yeah, that's Breathless. Amazing map. Again, one of the harder ones in the one map WAD alphabet. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good one. And I will see you in letter C.